I think all brands need a new approach to public relations because the very nature of public relations has been changing. But technology brands in particular have to realize that technology now pervades all of our lives. Technology used to be something that you used, and increasingly technology is really more of a faculty we possess. And what I mean by that is that everywhere you look around you, there's technology. It's not something that's just sitting on the shelf. Technology is powering how we connect with each other. Technology is powering how we keep ourselves healthy. Technology is really powering all aspects of our lives. And I think technology brands, when they're communicating about technology, when they're telling the story about their technology, need to be talking about life, and they need to recognize that technology is powering life and not talk about it as feeds and speeds or devices or the latest gadget. They need to be talking about it from the perspective of benefits and how does life improve. And so they really need to be understanding that whole picture and really telling the whole story around their technology, not just the product they're selling, but the entire lifestyle that they're enabling. So in terms of the change, they're going from telling a very discrete story about a very discrete product to talking about really an entire story. When crafting messaging for global audiences, of course, you need to take into consideration the cultural nuances. How you tell the story is going to slightly change depending on where you're telling it. They need to take into consideration the fact that language means different things, or certain words mean different things in different locations. I was in Beijing recently, and I was watching somebody give a presentation, and they used the phrase "jump the shark." And I had to remind the presenter later that although people in the United States might understand what that means, the Chinese audience that he was speaking to had no idea what he meant. I was in Berlin just last week, and somebody talked about how she wasn't wearing pants. Well, that meant a very different thing to the Americans sitting in the audience than it did the Brits. So, there's the very simple things such as just the words you use have different meanings, and global brands need to understand that the core of their story might be the same, but the nuances of that story, the language you use, the context in which you tell that story needs to change depending on where you're telling that story around the world. I think the biggest shift that I'm seeing and will continue over the next 5 years is that technology is becoming so business critical to every type of organization, not just technology companies. The CTO within a company is becoming more and more important. Every company knows that they need to have a technology strategy, a mobile strategy, a cloud strategy, because that's the world we live in. I was at a conference just last week, and the group was asked, what is the biggest opportunity for your organization moving forward? Half of them said technology. So I think that the biggest trend we're going to see is that every company realizes to a certain level they have to become a technology company. It can't just be the IT department in the back corner. They need to live it, they need to breathe it, they need to invest in it.